Caitlin Clark just had the greatest game of her WNBA career and made a statement to USA Basketball in the final game before the Olympic break, proving why she should be on Team USA. Clark in this game scored 24 points and set a WNBA single game record with 19 assists in a game. And for anybody who still thinks she isn't one of the 12 best players in the WNBA right now, this video is for you. Everybody has been talking about the historic double-double streak from Angel Reese, but Caitlin Clark is on a double-double run too. She made it her 6th consecutive double-double in this game, and the way she's been playing over the last month have got the Fever, who started the season off slow, right back in the mix competing for a playoff spot. Let's talk about this game. Caitlin Clark's first of many assists came within 90 seconds. Entry pass into the post to Aaliyah Boston, who faces up at the elbow, drives left, bangs and finishes. The battle this game was Caitlin versus Arike, who some of you may remember hit this crazy game winner in Caitlin Clark's first WNBA game. On this play, Arike goes coast to coast, bumps Samuelson in the lane and banks it in off the glass. Caitlin replied. Leaning right, she goes behind the back to wrong foot her defender, gets into the lane, fakes and scores by Arike. Arike answered right back. Crossing into a mid-range jumper from the free throw line, we've got two of the W's best guards going back and forth. Caitlin Clark finds Boston under the basket. She gets McGowan to bite, goes under, steps through, scores and fouls. It's crazy how much chemistry these two have developed in such a short time period. Look at the numbers from their first 13 games together and then their 13 games since. What a turnaround from the back-to-back #1 picks. Speaking of duos, Nalissa Smith is another one getting familiar with CC. Watch her run the floor in transition, Caitlin creates an angle and feeds her with a perfect bounce pass from centre court, gifting Smith an easy 2 points. Speaking of 2 points, watch Caitlin Clark here. She races up the court, quickly changes direction with another behind the back move and beats the help defense to the rim and finishes fancily. Poetry in motion for 22, showing off her new and improved handle. We've got another assist from Caitlin Clark here. This time Kelsey Mitchell does the hard work. She attacks Sheldon off the dribble from the left wing, snakes her way to the basket and scores. The easiest assist Caitlin will have all night. End of the first quarter and the Wings lead Indiana 27-20. The Fever were moving the ball well but could not hit a three. They were 0 for 7 in the first as a team. Meanwhile, the Wings offense was cooking, shooting over 52% from the floor. The game plan going into the second for Indiana was pretty simple. Start hitting shots and start getting stops. First blood goes the Fever's way in the second. Clark runs the pick and roll with Dontis, doesn't force the issue, instead retreats to the perimeter, throws it into the post and Dontis gets the friendly roll on a difficult fadeaway. Arike picking up where she lets off, fires a free over Erica Wheeler and scores. That's 10 points so far for the 4-time All-Star. Make that 13 as Arike once again lets it fly from deep off the hard ball screen. 12-2 run for the Wings to start the second, and after they trap Clark with this double, force a turnover, the Wings extend their lead to 16 points. Clark is struggling from the perimeter in this game, but still finding ways to score. She takes advantage of an opening on this play and drives inside for a layup to score before the defense could set up. And then finally, with just over 5 minutes left in the half, CC gets her first free. Huge shift in momentum here for Indiana. Boston gets her third block of the game. Clark ends up with the rebound and takes Arike all the way from one paint to the other, draws the foul, makes the layup and one, and the Fever bring it back to within double digits. And then again, who said Caitlin Clark can only drive right? This time, she uses the screen and instead of settling for her trademark three going left, she goes left inside and lays it off the glass with the right hand. Another and one. That's 10 consecutive points for Caitlin Clark, single-handedly keeping the Fever in the ball game. But for every and one Caitlin Clark gets on one end, the Fever give it right back up, as on back-to-back possessions, Dallas were able to get those 3 points back the hard way, fighting and finishing through contact and adding another one at the line for 3. Sims was cooking for the Wings. Watch on this play how she crosses, gets Smith off her feet and steps through to score after the up and under. She scored 17 points in the first half. Clark tries to go inside again. Dallas do well to close off angles in the paint, but look who's open at the top of the key. Aaliyah Boston, looking like a stretch 5, hits just her 7th free ball of the entire season. I'm telling you right now, if she develops a 3-point shot, the Fever are going to be scary. Matter of fact, this duo is already scary. Watch the roll from Aaliyah Boston here. Clark uses her eyes to deceive the defense and wraps the pass around Sheldon into Boston for a wide open layup. And then the very next possession, it's them again. Clark bounce pass to Boston on the roll, she settles for a set shot at the elbow, gets the shooter's roll. That's 17 points on 7 of 8 shooting for Aaliyah Boston, and we're only in the second quarter. But just when you think the Fever are starting to take control, it's her again, Arike. She gets the steal, and instead of attacking, in transition she gets to her spot, pulls up from the elbow and hits the jumper. She's a certified bucket getter, and the half ends with the Wings up 8. Indiana doing a very poor job taking care of the ball, and they're getting punished for all the turnovers by the Wings. Indiana offensively were carried by Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston in the first half. They combined for 24 straight points for Indiana, and 31 of the Fever's 46 points were either scored or assisted by Clark. She ended the half with 14 points, 8 assists, while Boston, who scored 14 in the second, went into halftime with 20 points. But the best player of the first half wasn't Arike, Clark or Boston, it was Sims. She had 17 points on 7 of 9 shooting to go with 7 assists. Great first half for the veteran, and she didn't slow down. Indiana were able to make up some ground in the third, but the Wings kept applying pressure and scoring. Clark's first three of the second half came a few minutes in. From the inbound, they get it out to Mitchell on the left wing. Boston sets the down screen on Sims, allowing Clark to flare around and gather from the right wing. She lets fly and connects on just her second free ball of the game. And coming the other way, Clark goes behind the back again. Looks like she's going to step back for a free at the top of the key. She anticipates the closeout from Arike, makes the extra pass unselfishly, allowing Samuelson to hit an assisted free ball for her first points of the game. Caitlin Clark in her Showtime bag. Once again in transition, she runs the floor and patiently waits for the perfect moment to throw a beautiful behind the back pass to Nalissa Smith, who banks in the layup and goes to the line for one more. Double-double for Clark now. She's making everything happen for the Fever. They try to blitz her on the perimeter here. She splits the double, finds Boston at the free throw line for a great look. She scores, and it's a 13-2 run from Indiana, and all of a sudden, the game is tied. But look who answers back. JC Sheldon, the 5th pick in the draft, her shot is all net from the perimeter, and she puts the Wings back up 3. Her and Caitlin have a lot of history dating back to college in the Big Ten Conference. Caitlin Clark is one of the best inbound passers in the WNBA. Watch this. She picks out a cutting Mitchell with a perfect bounce pass, and Kelsey is just too fast to be stopped by the Dallas defense. Clark loves the bounce pass, doesn't she? Once again, when running the point, she runs the pick and roll with Nalissa Smith. This time dishes it under the jumping defender, finding Smith inside, who lays in a tough shot. That right there was Caitlin's 13th assist, matching her career high with over 12 minutes still to play. She's had 13 assists 5 times this season, but this time she's finally going to break her own record. And that won't be the only record she breaks this game, because this is a passing masterclass from number 22. But she's not just passing, she's scoring too. Right here, down 1, Clark rejects the screen, goes straight inside and just forces it into the hoop off the front of the rim, putting the Fever up 1, giving them their first lead since the beginning of the first quarter. Towards the end of the third, Arike doing what she does, makes a difficult step back jumper from the mid-range, making it look easy, and she's up to 20 points. The quarter ends with CC splitting the free throws at the line, and with that made free throw, she makes history again. Only 4 times in WNBA history has a rookie had a game with 20 plus points and 10 plus assists. Caitlin Clark did it 3 times in her last 4 games, and going into the fourth quarter, we've got a ball game as Dallas lead by just 2. First play of the fourth, Samuelson throws a risky pass to Clark, who has the right idea right away, steps into the drive, leaves 2 defenders in the dust and scores. Well executed play from the Fever to tie it up at 72 each. And then we have history. Clark once again, with 3 defenders within close proximity, finds the big on the roll with a bounce pass and Dantas scores. Caitlin Clark makes it 14 assists in the game, setting a new career high for her, but she wasn't done yet. Single-handedly keeping her team in the game, Clark, down low, bottled up, shows the work she's been putting in the weight room, gets physical down low and scores a hook-like shot from the low block. She's got 24 points to go along with her career high in assists. Clark penetrates, picks out Lexi Hall in the corner for a free ball and it's good. The Fever up 4, largest lead of the ball game for them, and that's 15 assists for Caitlin Clark. But the Wings don't give up, they keep fighting. Sims from the right wing attacks Clark, goes right at her and scores close to the basket. Clark has the chance to answer right back, with as wide open a free as she's had all night from her favourite spot on the left side to make history and become the first player to ever have 25 and 15 in a game, but she misses. Dallas get out quickly in transition, Brown scores and the game is tied. Timeout Indiana. This is a close one that could go either way. Out of the timeout, Mitchell, in a world of trouble, balls loose, somehow finds a way through traffic and is able to score at the end of the shot clock, and the Fever go back up 2. But you cannot sleep on the rookie, as JC Sheldon is left wide open in the corner and she scores to put the Wings back up 1. The Fever are sleeping on Ohio's all-time leading scorer. You cannot give her that much room in a one-possession game. When in doubt on offense, turn to the Clark-Boston pick and roll. Clark with another bounce pass inside finds Boston, who goes to work and finishes well off the glass with her weaker hand. Her finishing has been outstanding in this game. But the Fever make the same mistake again. Mitchell sleeping on JC Sheldon and she connects again, making it back-to-back 3-pointers for her. Clark in a hurry, early in the shot clock, launches a pass from half court into Boston before the Wings can set up defensively. She scores again, making it 17 assists for Clark, and she's closing in on history now. But that's the last thing she's thinking about right now, because the game is tied with just over 4 minutes to go. Caitlin Clark in transition picks out the shooter Lexi Hall in the corner for free to take the lead and make history. She misses. That was a great look for the Fever, but they're unable to capitalise. This game is chaos. A miss from the Wings. Clark again pushing the pace, goes right down the middle into Boston. You already know that's 2 points. Great timing, great footwork. Aaliyah Boston having a game herself, setting a new career high 28 points. And with that assist, Caitlin Clark tied the WNBA record with 18 assists. The score is tied at 90 each. Under 3 minutes to go, shot clock winding down, the Fever defend well, Sims jacks up a long free and it bounces high off the rim and into the hoop. What a shot to give Dallas the lead. The Fever need something and they need it now. Clark drives right, has a look, doesn't take it, kicks it out to Kelsey Mitchell for free to tie and to make history. She scores and Caitlin Clark breaks the record with 19 assists. The most assists ever in a WNBA game. A historic moment for women's basketball. But this game isn't over. 90 seconds remain. The Wings get 2 at the line to go up. The Fever trailing. Clark pick and pop with Samuelson. She's open top of the key, can take the lead and make it 20 assists for CC, but she misses. Ball out of bounds. Dallas ball. A minute remains. Wings up 2. They go to Ariki, guarded by Lexi. She's locked up in a world of trouble, almost loses the ball, somehow recovers, fades at the buzzer, and with no time to spare, she shows why she's arguably the WNBA's best scoring guard and hits a ridiculous shot to put the Wings up 4. A dagger right in the heart for the Fever. Out of the timeout, they're down 4, they need something. Clark's doubled, she loses control of the ball, the Wings regain possession and that will see it. The Wings go to the line, close out the game and spoil Caitlin Clark's historic night. She ends the first half of the WNBA season going into the Olympic break with a painful loss, after arguably the best individual performance of her WNBA career. She's going to have to wait for the 25 and 15 record. She was just 1 point away from another piece of history, but she made history nonetheless. She just broke the record for most assists ever in a WNBA game. One shy of the 20 assist mark, which she easily could have gotten if her teammates had converted some easy looks throughout the game. And the scary thing is, Caitlin actually struggled from the perimeter. She shot 2 of 9. but take nothing away from her playmaking masterclass. Credit to Aaliyah Boston, she had 28 points on 78% shooting. But it wasn't enough to beat Arike and Sims, who combined for 48 points for Dallas, and despite a heroic performance from Boston and Clark, the Fever lost. The Wings, who had lost 17 of the last 19 games, really needed a win. They got one. Caitlin Clark did all she could. She was directly responsible for 66 Fever points, the most ever in a WNBA game, previously held by guess who, Diana Taurasi, who had 65. And some people will still say Caitlin Clark shouldn't be on Team USA. But as good as Clark was in this game, it didn't matter because they didn't win the game. If you've made it up to this point and want to see a video on the WNBA All-Star Game where we will see Caitlin Clark go up against the US Women's Olympic team at All-Star Weekend, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video and click the box in the middle of your screen right now. If you enjoyed this video, you'll enjoy the next one too. And on that note, it's DKM signing out. Until next time, and peace.